when we won 4 games in home, we say, wow, we say, we win the World Series. So it's exciting. It's like we don't want to hit too high. So we want to be very focused about tomorrow and try and play good baseball.
What are your memories of the World Series a long time ago?
We won it.
Miguel Cabrera in his history 2 for 8 against Barry Zito with a couple of RBIs. He actually hits incrementally better against righties than lefties. And Mick, that's noteworthy because the Giants will start 2 southpaws in the first 2 games in the park right behind me.
All right, John, thank you very much. More with John from San Francisco coming up shortly. But as he just mentioned, the Tigers will see lefties in games 1 and 2. They've hit .260 against southpaws in the postseason, which is 7 points better than they hit against left-handers in the regular season. Jim Leyland's game 1 lineup will be right-handed dominant with a couple of exceptions. Jackson, Infante, and Cabrera are your top 3. Prince Fielders saw plenty of Barry Zito when he's with the Brewers, but is only hitting .167 against him lifetime. Delman Young will start in left tonight. No DH in these National League games. Then it's Peralta and Garcia, and the left-handed hitting Alex Avila behind the plate. Justin Verlander will bat 9th. So Craig, no DH, as we just mentioned, so Delman has to play the field. How much of a concern is that for the Tigers?
You know what? It's not going to be a concern for me, Mick. I actually think it's going to help him. Obviously, he has had a great postseason thus far, the way he swung the bat. So I think this is going to allow Delman to get out there and not really have to focus on just hitting. He's going to have to play both sides of the ball, which for some odd reason seems to bring out the best. If he can get any better, we're going to see this World Series.
All right. Of course, if Justin Verlander strikes everyone out, left field won't be an issue.
No.
And with Verlander, of course, anything is possible. But winning his first World Series game is job 1, regardless of how he does it. He lost his 2 starts in the '06 World Series, but that was a couple of no-hitters, a Cy Young, and an MVP ago. This time around, he feels he's much better suited to handle the magnitude of the moment.
I had the opportunity to pitch in the World Series before. It was my rookie year, though, and everything was kind of a whirlwind. You know, and I don't think I really appreciated the magnitude of how hard it is to get there. And just being able to take it in a little bit more, having experience under my belt and having been in some situations like this allows me not to be so wide-eyed and be able to be a little bit calmer and just kind of take things in.
Well, Mario Rod, he has not lost yet in these playoffs. His ERA is nearly non-existent. I believe the biggest key in this game 1 and this series for the Tigers is number 35.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, Mick. I mean, the one thing the Tigers have an advantage on here, especially starting on the road, is that they clinched in 4 games, and that means they can set up their rotation. And that means JV goes in game 1. You've got your best. You've got the planet's best, as you like to say. And JV, in the postseason, has given up just 2 runs, Rod. This guy, especially with all the strikeouts we saw against Oakland, can be dominant.
You know, when you think about the couple of starts he's already had against the Oakland Athletics, also the New York Yankees, they have predominantly left-handed lineups, but that will not be the case with San Francisco. Let's take a look at his body of work in the postseason. He overpowered a lot of these hitters with really good fastballs, and he was able to spot his fastball wherever he wanted to spot his fastball. Of course, when you get up to 100 miles an hour, you're going to throw the ball by a lot of guys. But he didn't use his curveball as much as he used his changeup because of all the left-handers that he went up against. And that changeup was fading down and away, and that's one of the reasons why JV was able to rack up so many strikeouts, and that's one of the reasons why he's been so good thus far in the postseason. JV has simply done what he's needed to do. He's exploited the weaknesses of the left-handed batters.
And you know, Mick, as we move along in this series, we'll see what happens here in game 1. But the fact that the Tigers have a little bit of an unsettled bullpen right now may not matter tonight with Justin Verlander in mound. As we say, he is his own best closer.
As we just saw there in his last start in the Bay Area was spectacular. A complete game 4-hit shutout of the A's in game 5 of the ALDS. Something similar to that would work just fine tonight. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you again in just a few minutes. Up next, we get to know the Tigers' World Series foe. You know, cats are supposed to have 9 lives, but the Giants never say die. What or who makes them tick? We'll get into that when Tigers Live continues from the Coliseum studio.
Led by MVP favorite catcher Buster Posey and a pitching staff of wily veterans and young upstarts, but perhaps the player that most exemplifies this team's grit and heart was the MVP from the NLCS, Marco Scutaro, who's with Aaron Andrews right now.
Joe, thanks so much. Marco, last time I saw you absolutely drenched holding the NLCS MVP trophy. How much have you allowed yourself to think about that?
Oh my gosh, it's just been amazing. It's hard to explain. Actually, next day when I wake up, I ask my wife, I was like, whatever happened last night, is that real? That was a dream or what? And she's like, no, baby, that was real. It's unbelievable.
And it's about to get very real as you face Justin Verlander and the Detroit Tigers. You played in the AL. You've gone up against this guy before. What's key in facing a dominant pitcher like that?
Well, hopefully look for a pitch, and if you get it, don't try to miss it, because he has 4 quality pitches, and he can throw any pitch in any count, and, you know, everybody knows how good he is.
Thanks so much. Thanks for your time. Joe, back over to you.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. Well, right now we're going to step aside from down here on the field, and we're going to kick it up to left field and join our friends from MLB Network at the desk. That means Matt Vasgersian, Eric Karros, Harold Reynolds, and A.J. Pierzynski. Matt, all yours.
Joe, thanks. And guys, a starting pitching matchup tonight. Justin Verlander, Barry Zito, worthy of a World Series opener. It's just the 4th time in World Series history the 2 former Cy Young Award winners have lined up against one another to open a fall classic. And AJ, you faced Justin Verlander more than anybody else in baseball history. 3 home runs. I think that's what you've been telling everybody.
That's what my baseball card says, so yes.
What are the Giants in for tonight?
Well, you know, the thing is, Marco Scutaro said he woke up and asked his wife if he was dreaming. Well, I think he's having nightmares, being 5 for 25 with 9 strikeouts off this guy. He's as good as it gets, reigning MVP, Cy Young winner, but he figured something out. Instead of throwing 90, 91 in the first couple innings, he comes out now 94, 95. He's 6-1 in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, 0-2 in the World Series. Tonight, I think he figures it out in the World Series, gets that win, what he's been looking for, and leads the Tigers tonight.
You know, the big thing here is, too, experience. We talk about that a lot, but there's a presence about this guy that when you come across greatness, you kind of look at that guy and go, man, he looks a little different. There's a different look about him. That's the same thing with Verlander, a confidence and a presence that I think goes into a Hall of Fame status. That's the type of guy he's developing into right now.
Well, he goes against Barry Zito, who doesn't throw 100 miles an hour and doesn't have the type of presence that Verlander does, but what he did in Game 5 in the championship series, I mean, it was insurmountable. He went out, he painted corners, threw strikes, kept the Giants in the ball game. That's why they think that they can win tonight against Verlander.
Verlander and Zito, contrasting styles, but decorated resumes for both starters in this opener. Much more from out here in left field as we continue. Joe, for now, back out to you.
All right, pal, glad you guys are with us out here on the road. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look behind the scenes, and it's going to be fun as we look at one of the Tigers' big sluggers and find out exactly what it's like being Prince Fielder.
Well, at this point, our mind is like ready to go today. I think we need that day off, and hopefully we can put everything in the field, and hopefully we can come ready to play.
Justin Verlander pitching tonight, throws hard. What do you expect to see?
Well, I expect to see every night he pitch, go deep in the game, try to keep us in the game, give you a chance to win in the late inning, give you a chance to win the game.
Miguel, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, thank you, and thanks to Miguel Cabrera for stopping by. We will step aside again here on the field, send it back up to left, and check in with Matt and the guys. Matt.
Yeah, Joe, thanks, and I'm curious on your take on the MVP race. Eric, at one point there was a debate as to who it was in the American League. Is there still a debate in your mind?
I don't think there's a debate. He's the American League MVP, and don't forget, this is not Miguel Cabrera's first World Series. He helped lead the Marlins in 2003 to a World Championship.
I don't know why there ever was a debate. Triple crown, you lead your team to win the division, and now you're in the World Series.
There's no debate for me. There's no debating for me as a catcher. I know he's the most feared, the most scary hitter since probably Barry Bonds, who played for these San Francisco Giants, who I played with and against.
To your point, Cabrera has in fact been here before. This 108th Fall Classic features some of the game's marquee talent. Much of that star power having been here before. The exception playing in his first World Series, 4-time All-Star Prince Fielder. We caught up with Prince on Monday night to learn more about being Prince Fielder. Brought to you by Windows Phone.
Even people who don't watch baseball, you know, are really excited about us being in the World Series.
If you had one shot,
that goes to show how the team means a lot to the city.
He sees everything you ever wanted. One moment.
It's a big moment, so you got to get it ready. We're going to see Eminem at his studio. He's shooting a video here, so kind of invited me out to say what's up.
No, this is great, man. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
For the city, too, you know?
Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, just 4 more wins.
No, I mean, let's do it. You need a pinch hitter?
Yeah, come on. You know what? I think we need one. What is it? Right-handed or left-handed?
Ambidextrous.
Oh, so okay, perfect.
Either way, I pitch too.
Do you?
Yeah. So let me know I'm here, man.
All right.
You know?
I'll tell him. Being Prince Fielder is outstanding because I have a great wife, great kids. That's good enough.
This is good.
Try it, man. And I'm in the World Series. So, I mean, you know, it's the trifecta. Good. Gangnam Style. Do it, do it. Gangnam Style. Do it, Gangnam Style. Oh. They love the Gangnam Style stuff. It's pretty funny. Do it. And then twirl it. Good job. I have 2 boys, so I want to make sure if I'm the man they look up to, I want to make sure I do it right. That's all. What's 0 times 7?
7.
0.
Oh.
Me and my wife, our thing is, number 1, if you do good in school, you're all right. Don't be lazy. I'm going to check all these. If you're being lazy, you're going to do it all over again. Whenever she says they haven't been good, then Daddy has to step in, and I got to get all mad for a second. And looks like we're going to San Fran. Hello, Frisco. Peace.
I think we'd all agree it'd be tough to argue that it's not to be real good being Prince Fielder right now. He's got the world right here. He's having a good time.
Even better, I want to be the guy hitting in front of Prince Fielder. Prince's protection agency should start because Ryan Braun last year, the NL MVP, Miguel Cabrera this year, the AL Triple Crown winner, and more than likely he has to be the MVP. Prince, I want to hit in front of you. You got a room. I'd love to come and hit in front of you anytime.
Well, you know what the thing is, everybody talks about his hitting, his slugging, but the guy's a pretty darn good athlete, plays first base very well, and he also runs the bases. So you can't just say, oh, slugger, that's all he does.
I think the key to the series is going to come down to him because what are you going to do? You're going to walk Cabrera, bring in the lefty matchups. We've watched the Giants do this repeatedly. They shut down Ryan Howard. They shut down Utley. They shut down Josh Hamilton. This guy's a different animal.
He can hit left. He can hit left.
There isn't a guy that has more hits against left-handers this postseason than Prince Fielder.
Will that all affect your predictions? It's time to take a look at what the morning papers will read come morning of Game 2. What does the Pierzynski press look like, AJ?
Well, aced for me. In a matchup of Cy Young winners, Justin Verlander outduels Barry Zito, leads the Tigers to a 1-0 lead tonight.
Carroll's Chronicles, let's take a look. The Tigers bite the Giants. I think the right-handed hitters will get to Zito, specifically Mr. Young.
Well, I'm going with the Tigers as well. I got Verlander, what's it saying, too much. But I hear a big yell right now, and that's in the Giant clubhouse because they said, all 3 of you clowns picked against us again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the Giants and everybody else in the world is very aware of your track record.
Yeah, that means the Giants are walking away with this easy.
The Giants should be happy right now, right?
Selling a lot of papers in Detroit tomorrow morning, according to our guys. Not so much in San Francisco. We'll see if that all plays out. For now, Joe, back to you.
All right, Matt, thank you. By the way, nobody smiles in this game more than Prince Fielder. It's his first World Series. We're glad he's here. We're glad you're here. I got to go to work. You're going to meet the players for this World Series when we come back.
Only love can make it rain. The way the beach gets kissed by the sea. Only love can bring the rain that falls like tears from on high.
The manager, Jim Leyland. Leading off, playing center field, number 14, Austin Jackson. Batting second, playing second base, number 4, Omar Infante. Batting third, playing third base, number 24, Miguel Cabrera. base, number 28, Prince Fielder. Batting fifth, playing left field, number 21, Delman Young. Batting sixth, at shortstop, number 27, Johnny Peralta. Batting seventh, playing right field, number 34, Avisail Garcia. Batting eighth, catcher, number 13, Alex Avila. And batting ninth, warming up in the bullpen, the starting pitcher, number 35, Justin Verlander. And now, the starting lineup for your 2012 National League champion, San Francisco Giants! And first, the manager, number 15, Bruce Bochy. Leading off, in center field, number 16, Angel Pagan. Batting second at second base, your 2012 NLCS MVP, number 19, Marco Scooterov. Batting third, third baseman, number 48, Pablo Sandoval. Batting cleanup and catching, your 2012 National League batting champion, number 28, Buster Posey. Batting fifth, in right field, number 8, Hunter Pence. Batting sixth, playing first base, number 9, Brandon Belt. Batting seventh, in left field, number 7, Gregor Blanco. Batting eighth, at shortstop, number 35, Brandon Crawford. And batting ninth, warming up in the bullpen, tonight's starting pitcher, number 75, Barry Zito. And now, fans, please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Performing for us today, followed by a ceremonial flyover, his hit single, Home, has sold more than 2 million copies. Please welcome the winner of American Idol Season 11, Philip Phillip.
The long drive. If it stays fair, get over, get over. He knew it. There it is. The fly ball to center field is deep. And that's going to be gone. Reggie Jackson is hitting third home run of the game.
Is set to go to Bill Mazeroski. She's going way back. And you can kiss it goodbye. It's gone.
You had to show the Mazeroski clip.
But there goes Willie. And he makes a miraculous catch.
Into deep left center. Breeze hits it in the air to center. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Tonight, the World Series will begin play for the 108th time. There's no script for what will happen, but how many times have dreamers imagined this scenario? Playing through pain. Your team is down by 1. Bottom of the 9th. 2 outs. Full count. Well, for some, it's not a dream. It's the moment a legend is made.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw.
That's baseball. And this is Game 1 of the World Series, the Tigers versus the Giants. Don't worry, Fox won't let you miss a single moment.
And they are ready yet again for postseason baseball here in San Francisco. They pack into this park, they make noise, and they make the cameras shake. It's game number 1 of the World Series. The Detroit Tigers, the San Francisco Giants, tonight on Fox. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming up in just a second. So let's look at Detroit. They win the division, 2nd year in a row. They get by Oakland. They get by the Yankees, and they made it look easy. On the other side, you've got the San Francisco Giants. Down 2-0 to Cincinnati, going on the road, no problem. Down 3-1 to the St. Louis Cardinals, no problem. Here they are in the World Series trying to win it for the 2nd time in the last 3 years. Now, all the momentum they have can hit a brick wall when the opposition is starting a guy like Justin Verlander here in game 1, and that's really part of what should be an advantage pitching-wise for the Tigers. It rests with their starting rotation.
Clearly, the advantage rests with the starting rotation of the Tigers, led by Verlander. However, if the Giants can score early, get the lead in the middle of the game, then the advantage swings to San Francisco because they've got a much better, more flexible bullpen than Detroit.
Let's talk offense for the Giants. They were led in that NLCS by their 2-3 hitters, Marco Scutaro, Pablo Sandoval. On the other side, you've got easily the most feared 3-4 combination of Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder. They are so good.
Maybe in the game, the thing you want to do with them is try to get them to hit with minimum guys on base. That's why Austin Jackson, to me, is the offensive key as to whether Detroit scores 1 run or multi-runs.
Let's thank Billy Crystal for helping us open the show. His new movie, Parental Guidance, opens Christmas Day, in which he plays a San Francisco Giants minor league announcer. This is the big leagues, and it's game 1 coming up next. It's no put on. Baseball's 2 best teams are about to face off in the 108th edition of the Fall Classic. The only thing left to decide who will be crowned this year's champion. It's game 1 of the World Series, only on Fox. He's our director. Taco Bell starting lineup for the Tigers. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Austin Jackson leads off in center. Omar Infante is in second. Then Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, that great combo. Delman Young, the ALCS MVP. Johnny Peralta at short. He's had a good postseason. Avisail Garcia is out in right. He's a rookie. Alex Avila does the catching, and Justin Verlander. There's nobody better that anybody can throw in a game 1 than Justin Verlander. And by the way, don't forget, all it takes, 1 stolen base in this World Series, and everybody in America gets a free taco. That's about as simple as it gets. And Justin Verlander, who will be the opposition for Barry Zito, his pregame meal is from Taco Bell. That's a free pop for Taco Bell. And here's the left-hander, Barry Zito.
Not a bad pop either. Game 5 of the National League Championship Series, so important to the Giants. It was win or go home. Well, they went home to play games 6 and 7. The past is forgotten, however, and now he's got a pitch. The danger with Barry Zito was before game 5 and is tonight before game 1 of the World Series. Don't fall behind.
Opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Austin Jackson getting set to lead it off. And you look at the numbers from the regular season on that bottom line, a .300 average, 16 home runs, 66 RBIs, and Tim, he deserves a lot of credit for working hard to limit strikeouts, and he's been much better this year.
Not only working hard during the season, but working hard during last offseason with Lloyd McClendon.
Off we go, and the first pitch is up and away, ball one from Barry Zito, who wears number 75, a former Cy Young Award winner. That was back in 2002 with the Oakland A's. 10 years later, here he is making his first World Series start. And he is behind on the count, 2-0, and both pitches have been up, and I'm sure the adrenaline is coursing through the veins of Barry Zito.
As importantly, both pitches have been outside. You've got to clear that front side and try to throw inside part of the plate to right-handed batters.
There's a strike, and it's 2-1. It's just in game one, the fourth matchup between Cy Young Award winners. It's Zito and the power right-hander Verlander. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Jackson. Popped up. Shallow center. Pagan coming in. So is Pence, and it's Pence. 1 away. The Giants defensive lineup brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. We've got Gregor Blanco in left. Angel Pagan in center. Hunter Pence is in right. Pablo Sandoval, Brandon Crawford, Marco Scutaro, and Brandon Belt around the infield. Buster Posey does the catching for Barry Zito. And you should know by now, every season starts at Dick's. Here is Omar Infante, who was picked up from the Marlins, and after starting slowly, he showed the Detroit fans exactly what he can do. A nice addition Dave Dombrowski made in season to shore up second base. Strike one.
I'll tell you how good Omar Infante is. 2 years ago, he was a utility player for the Atlanta Braves, and he made the All-Star team. That's pretty good.
Trying to get on in front of Cabrera. If there's better protection in the game, you'd have to try and convince me. You couldn't do it because protection happens with the guy on deck, and the guy on deck is the most feared hitter in the game. Jerry Davis is the crew chief. He's behind the plate. Dan Iasoni at first, fielded Culbreth, Brian O'Nora, Brian Gorman, Joe West, blue cowboy in right. Base hit up the middle. That pitch hung out over the plate, and Omar Infante reached out and sent it right back through the box. So it's 1 on, 1 out. And here comes Miguel Cabrera, the Triple Crown winner from the American League.
There are many words to describing. I think the best word is terrifying.
He seems like he's been around forever. He's only 29 years old, and for him to do what he did offensively and become the first Triple Crown winner since 1967, Tim, whilst moving from first base to third base defensively, I think is remarkable.
That's a valid point. Not only does he have to worry about hitting as always, but moving to a new position, or a position that he hadn't played in a while.
Here's a pitch up and away, and that's a ball from Barry Zito. So Miguel Cabrera, last 4 Triple Crown winners have reached the World Series. That includes big number 24 for the Tigers. Check on the runner at first. Mickey Mantle in 56. His team won it all. Frank Robinson in 66. His team won it all. Then Yaz, who was the last to do it, 67. His team lost to, which team was that? Who was their catcher?
Cardinales.
1-0 the count on Cabrera. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a pretty good pitch. Zito doesn't get the call, and the count is now 2-0 instead of even at 1-1.
That's a breaking ball and missed inside. The one thing about Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire, he has a very tight strike zone. To get strikes called, it's got to be on the plate. No iffy phantom strike calls off the plate.
Here's a 2-0. Down and in 3-0. Look at the numbers for Miguel Cabrera in 2012. I mean, all world season, number 1 in the American League in all those different categories. And since 2009, he's led the American League overall in all the Triple Crown categories. keep saying Triple Crown. That's home runs, RBIs, average. He was #1 in the league. There's a strike from Zito, and the count 3-1.
Carl Yastrzemski was quoted as saying that he was surprised that the Triple Crown took so long to be renewed. 45 years.
Here's a 3-1. That's a strike, and it's 3-2. Velocity won't get much above 86. That was 85.
Wanted it more inside part of the plate.
Breaking ball is fouled with Infante going from first. Already in this first inning, the hardest Zito's thrown, 85. The lowest velocity, 72.
That was a changeup. Infante hit up the middle.
Cabrera on 3-2 takes ball 4, and down to second is Infante, and that pitch awfully close. So much so that Posey popped up and was getting ready to throw down, but it was called out of the strike zone, 2 on, 1 out.
The one thing a catcher wants with the runner running at first base is a quick call from the home plate umpire. Posey thought it was a strike, but that pitch was low. Good call by Jerry Davis. If you don't get a quick call from the home plate umpire, you may throw it to second base needlessly.
Now it's Prince Fielder. What a great first year in a Tiger uniform, dealing with Zito, and he pops it into shallow left. Out goes the shortstop, and Crawford's got it 2 out. Fielder, who was hitting .211 prior to that at bat, flies to left. .211 for the postseason. And we take a look at the 4 keys to this series and your overview of these major categories.
Well, those 2 check marks, starting pitching, that's how good the Tigers starters are and how hot they have been. But the bullpen, defense, and base running goes to the Giants, and the power to the power-laden Detroit Tigers.
Here's Delmon Young. 5 straight games with an RBI this postseason for Delmon. He had, as he fouls it back, the game-winning RBI in each of the 4 wins over the Yankees. Infante, the lead man at second. Cabrera on at first with 2 out.
What Delmon Young did against the Yankees, he cheated on that inside pitch, looking inside. The inside part of the plate's a dangerous pitch to Young right here.
There are the numbers from his series against the Yankees pitching. The 0-1. Left side, Sandoval got a weird hop, corralled it, gets the force out. And Zito gets around a hit and a walk after a half in game 1 in San Francisco. No score. Center, Marco Scutaro is at second, batting second, and Pablo Sandoval had a very good LCS. Scutaro was the MVP. Buster Posey trying to get hot this postseason. Hunter Pence is in right. Brandon Belt at first. Gregor Blanco in left. Brandon Crawford is the shortstop, and Barry Zito, who had a bunt base hit for an RBI in his game 5 start, is pitching and batting ninth. But here you go. I mean, Justin Verlander, the numbers are overwhelming.
He is the epitome of excellence, and he's scary. He gets stronger as the game goes along, and as AJ said in his pregame comments, about 94, 95 instead of the 91, 92 that he was featuring earlier in the year, says Jim Leyland.
Yeah, so he's going to come out of the gate throwing harder than he typically does, and then the unbelievable part of Verlander's game.
Like a gathering storm.
Yeah, he goes into the 8th inning, the 9th inning. They don't worry about pitch count. He throws harder than he has all game.
Amazing.
Here is Angel Pagan to start the night. 94 on his first pitch of the night. Misses for ball 1, and I think you nailed it early. I don't think we're going to see any cheap strikes called tonight.
Nope.
It's Pagan, Scutaro, and Sandoval. Here's a 1-0 pitch. A ball and a strike from the right-hander, who was part of a Detroit starting rotation this postseason. It has an ERA of 1.02. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Chased it upstairs. Every pitch has been 94, and that almost knocked the helmet off the head of Angel Pagan, that swing, and it's 1-2.
And you know, Joe, you'll hit the low fastball. You're not going to touch that one around the letters. Forget it. Make him bring the ball down. Of course, by bringing it down, it might be that devastating curveball he has, or splitter, or change.
One ball, 2 strikes. Pagan leading off. Went after the pitch up and away. You and I saw Justin Verlander, and neither one of us wanted to make eye contact with him before the game. He was fiery 2 hours before this game started.
Like a tiger in a cage.
Yeah. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Pagan trying to work his way on base. Still in the hole, 1-2. There's no way we'll get through the end of this replay before the next pitch.
I was thinking the same thing. That super slow-mo is too slow.
Here's a 1-2 and a chopper right side for Prince Fielder. Flips for the out. It's still going somewhere in our production. 1 out, nobody on for Scutaro. Here's what Justin Verlander's done to him in the postseason. I mean, he's been almost unhittable.
Yeah.
3-0 record, ERA at 3/4 of a run. Opponents not hitting anything against him. And we talked to Jim Leyland before the game. He said, I don't even think about pitch count with Verlander, and he's good for 130 pitches or more. Here is Scutaro, the MVP of the last round. He hit 500. Takes the ball.
Jim Leyland saying that the reason he selected Verlander to start game 1, as if it weren't an easy choice, he said, Justin told me he was starting game 1, and I said, okay.
Here's a 1-0. On the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Jim Leyland, who we've shown you a few times already in his 7th year with the Detroit Tigers. He took this team to the World Series in '06, matched up against his good friend Tony La Russa. Cardinals won that series in 5 games. The Tigers have not won it all since 1984. Good breaking ball. It drops a little low, but that's the first look at that pitch, and it is knee buckling. It is tight. I mean, it's got to be impossible to hit after mid-90s and above on the fastball.
Yeah, you've got too many things to think about. You're trying to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and then wait to hit a curve.
Broken bat, ground ball to Peralta. Gets a funny hop and got him for the out.
Good play by Peralta, who does not have range to his left or right, but has very good range in on a ball. That's a big league play by a big league shortstop. Got him.
And a good call by Dan Iasonia, the first base umpire. He got it right. How about the defense for Detroit? Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. You know that Peralta's at short. Delman Young in left, typically a DH. Austin Jackson in right. Avisail Garcia is in right. Jackson in center. Then it's Cabrera, Peralta, Infante, Fielder. Avila is the catcher. And he has worked the most this season with Verlander. Strike 1 to Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval has been red hot. Reaching for that pitch. Fouling it back 0-2. Sandoval and Scutaro in that LCS combined to hit .404. 2 homers, 10 RBIs. The rest of this lineup hit .217 with 3 homers, 21 RBIs. So this team is in the final round of the postseason because of the 2-3 combo, at least offensively, for the Giants. The count's 0-2. And Sandoval hits it into center. Back at the wall. Come on. 1-0 Giants and a home run by Pablo Sandoval.
That's a situation where Justin Verlander did exactly what he wanted to do. Up and in. Sometimes you have to tip your cap to the hitter, and I think Justin would say that. That's one of them.
How did he get on top of that ball?
I don't know. He's a lethal low ball hitter and usually can't handle that, especially when it's 95 miles an hour.
Wow. How about that jolt for the home crowd?
That's a wow right there.
Strike 1 on the inside corner to Posey. Sandoval came in over his last 9 postseason games hitting .378. And he's picking up where he left off against the one.
On 0-2 counts this year, major leaguers hit 149. 149. And that count, of course, was 0-2.
1-2 the count on Buster Posey. He's got that orangish faux hawk. Not a total mohawk, but they love him here in San Francisco, and they love him even more now. 1-0.
They love their panda.
That's down, and a count of 2-2 on Posey. He's hitting only .178 this postseason. Hunter Pence on deck.
You just don't hit many 0-2 fastballs out of the strike zone against Justin Verlander. Just doesn't happen.
Breaking ball gets Posey looking. The inning is over, but the first run is scored by the Giants. Somehow Pablo Sandoval got on top of that pitch. .343. He's played an outstanding shortstop. Had a good second half, and he has added to it in the postseason. 1 ball, 1 strike. Went deep twice in the clinching game 4. Was at home against the Yankees to end the ALCS. Miguel Cabrera also went deep in that game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Zito flips one up there at 80 miles per hour. Peralta out in front of it, strike 2.
Trying to hook that ball down the third baseline with 2 strikes. However, Peralta starts going to right field. He has very good power the other way, but it's wasted in this ballpark.
The 1-2 from Zito. Up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Zito got a game 4 start at Cincinnati, went 2 2/3. That was it. But he got the ball again for game 5. That was in the NLCS from Bruce Bochy, and he went 7 2/3, no runs, 6 hits. He was outstanding in on the hands of Peralta. And to me, you know, you can look at the job by Vogelsong in game 6 and Matt Cain in game 7. But to me, that start that he gave these Giants launched them into winning those last 3 games and getting to the World Series.
After that game, the Giants thought, yes, we can, and they did.
2-2 the count. Posey hangs on, and that's the first strikeout of the night for Barry Zito. And for more on this veteran left-hander, down to Aaron Andrews.
Joe, we all kind of had the idea that Bruce Bochy would hand the ball to Barry Zito here in Game 1 if the Giants got to the World Series. Now, when Bochy tried to actually call Barry Zito after they won the NLC ball, I'm happy to give it to you.
And Zito happy to get this start, as I mentioned, 10 years after winning the 2002 Cy Young Award. That's the longest layoff for a Cy Young Award winner to start his first World Series game in the history of Major League Baseball. 10 seasons between Cy Young and first World Series start, as the rookie Avisail Garcia was burst onto the big league scene and had a very good series against the Yankees. Fouls it away. It's 1-1.
And 2 years ago, Barry Zito was not on the postseason roster. All three, the Division League Championship Series and World Series. Not just one, but three.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Garcia takes strike 2.
That's a changeup and a good one. Actually taking something off that breaking ball. How pitchers do that is with the grip. The tighter the grip, the slower the pitch.
Another foul. Garcia was the minor league hitter of the year for the Detroit Tigers. He came up at the very end of August, and he had more RBIs in that series against the Yankees than he had at any point in any series during the regular season. In fact, more total RBIs. This postseason 4. He drove home 3 in 23 games for Jim Leyland. Garcia waits with 1 out, nobody on, and gets time from the home plate umpire, Jerry Davis.
You know, the one thing, he's, as you said, only 21 years old. The one thing is you don't see many young hitters with right-handed hitters with the grip off the bat. That is very unconventional for a 21-year-old.
That's down and in, 2-2.
That left hand is actually overlapping the knob of the bat.
He is big. Right-handed hitter, and some refer to him as Miguel Cabrera Jr. As he fills out, Jim Leyland said eventually he'll be a 25-30 home run guy. He then said, I won't be here to witness it, but he will be that type hitter. Good pitch by Zito. Jammed him. Crawford, 2 out. And that guy's played the heck out of shortstop in the second half for Bruce Bochy and in this postseason.
That's the one great thing about the postseason. You have a chance to see a young guy develop with a fine arm. Brandon Crawford can flat play shortstop, topped by Garcia. And Crawford makes it easily.
We talked to the guy who received that throw as Alex Avila stands in, the number 8 hitter. Jim Leyland wants him to be more aggressive. First pitch swinging, getting back to the bag is Belt for the out. He almost ranged too far to his right. Belt told us before the game other teams' first base coaches remark about how Brandon Crawford's arm is so strong. He and Scooter will make plays in the inning. 1-0 after 1.5. Third inning now, 1-0, and Verlander goes up there hacking at the first pitch. Brandon Belt to his left, 1 out. That was quick. And Verlander, who was 0 for 4 during the regular season, is now 0 for 1 in the postseason. He didn't look too interested. Tonight, State Farm get to a better state recap. We go back to the All-Star game, started by Verlander, and a big piece of that bad first inning was a 3-run triple by Pablo Sandoval. But you know the story continues here in the postseason as Austin Jackson takes high, ball 1, and tonight in the first inning with an 0-2 pitch, a 411-foot home run over the wall. And
Joe, we said that nobody hits an 0-2 pitch off of Justin Verlander out of the ballpark, and we were right. Nobody this year has hit an 0-2 pitch out of the ballpark against Verlander. We just kind of threw it out there, at least I did. I had no idea, but there were 192 home runs hit on an 0-2 count this year in the American League. Actually, in the major leagues, none off Verlander. None. That's the first one.
2 balls and a strike. Austin Jackson at the plate. 1 out, nobody on. Time called. Eric Karros is with us. First of all, where are you? Up in left field, EK?
I'm out in left field with the people, Joe.
Yeah, well, enjoy that. And after this pitch, talk about that pitch sequence and what we saw from Verlander in the first.
Well, it's interesting. Of the 6 outs he's recorded so far, 5 of them have been on off-speed pitches. You saw Sandoval 0-2. He went at him with a fastball. Everybody else, slider, curve, change. The only guy that's been retired on a fastball, Brandon Belt.
Here's a base hit up the middle. Off the bat of Austin Jackson, and he's on with 1 out here in the 3rd. Here's the pitch sequence to Sandoval.
A strike was down, and he fouled 1 off. 0-2.
Have not been in a Major League Baseball stadium that's louder than this.
As Bruce Jenkins of the Chronicle said, it's a park of ridiculous fun. And he's right.
And noise.
Yeah. And they are synchronized, locked into the music on the screen, with each other, with their team, with the fake cable cars. I mean, it's just wonderful.
Crawford with a count 0-2. He'll be followed by Barry Zito, then Angel Pagan. Super Phantom Cam slow-mo.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Crawford, 206 this postseason. He checks his swing. Verlander's upset. He thought the pitch was good enough for strike 3.
Again, Jerry Davis with a tight strike zone behind home plate.
Into center. Jackson is there. To his left, 1 out. MasterCard is proud to present more than $4 million to Stand Up to Cancer, raised from the Eat, Drink, and Be Generous campaign. MasterCard joined here by its Priceless Moments winners and Stand Up to Cancer Scientific Advisory Committee members and co-founders. For more information, visit standuptocancer.org/MasterCard. MasterCard is the official payment card of Major League Baseball. Also in that group, 9-year-old cancer survivor Justin Miller. Nice moment here at AT&T as Barry Zito, who had a bunt base hit for an RBI in that Game 5 start in St. Louis, will be challenged by Verlander. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4 out of 53 on the regular season. Swinging the bat for Zito. Not known as a good hitter, facing the game's best. And I think Verlander will probably stick with that pitch. And very shortly, Barry Zito will go back to the dugout.
Well, if Barry does make contact, he'll have to hit the ball to left field. Laws of physics.
Making ball. I mean, you saw that little smile on the face of Zito after the swing and the miss on the 1-1 fastball. Now he gets a hook. Now he waits for a 2-2 pitch. Strikeout number 3. 2 out here in the 3rd inning, and back to the top of the lineup, and Angel Pagan.
A guy like Barry Zito is worried about at-bats, not hits. If he has 3 at-bats, he's pitching well. Even 2 at-bats, he's gone to the 5th inning in a game like this.
Well, these two teams obviously coming off time off. The Tigers more than the Giants, but the Giants had a day off as Pagan fouls it back. And we asked Bruce Bochy before the game about a short leash for Zito, who's obviously pitching well again, but he's got Lincecum in his bullpen. He's got good lefties, good righties. That's where his strength is, and I think any sign of trouble, Bochy's going to think about going down to that pen.
Absolutely. And a guy like Lincecum is so handy. I mean, normally he could only start 2 games, but if it goes 7 games, he could be in 3 games, not 2. And he's so different from the other Giant pitchers. That's what makes him so valuable.
Here's a 1-1 fouled straight back. The count 1-2. Pretty good rip by Pagan, who is getting right around the 200 mark as Barry Zito is thinking about the top of the 4th when he deals with Fielder, Young, and Peralta. Still 1-2. Barry's still talking to himself in the dugout. The 34-year-old left-hander. Here's a 1-2. Breaking ball is outside the strike zone. 2-2. Zito signed that 7-year deal before the 2007 season. Signed through 2013, so next year, and then a club option for 2014. Got big money. He hasn't been a big winner, but boy, did he come up huge in Game 5 of the NLCS as Pagan just got a piece.
We talked about it, the 6 years of ineffectiveness, with the exception of this year when Barry was 15-8. Will all be forgiven if they beat the Cardinals in Game 5. Well, he did. 7 2/3 shutout ball, and if he does it again tonight in Game 1 of the World Series, then the slate is really clean.
Here is a 2-2 pitch with 2 out, nobody on. Pagan fouls it back. Good at bat. The Giants have won Zito's last 13 starts. He's won his last 8 decisions. Which includes Game 5, and that 13 consecutive wins in his start is the longest active streak around baseball. Here comes another 2-2 from Verlander. Pagan's made him work. 8th pitch of the at-bat. Left side, Cabrera hits the bag, and that's a base hit. Pagan will end up at second base with 2 out.
You know, it's rare that a first base coach comes into play. Almost never. But the ball hit the bag, and Pagan's busting it down to first base, thinking there's going to be a play on it. Roberto Kelly, the first base coach, points towards second, and Pagan took it with 2 outs. I mean, you almost never have a first base coach come into play about anything. All they do is say, watch the line drive, but Roberto Kelly was right on the money, pointing to second, and Pagan took advantage of it.
So it's a bad break double against Verlander. And the batter is Scutaro, runner at second, 2 out. Scutaro has hit in 10 straight during the postseason, and you can see Kelly get into the picture on the right side of it, sending Pagan down to second with 2 out. Want to know the count on Scutaro. Coming off a 14-hit NLCS. Tried to squirt it down the right side, and the count even 1-1. Over but low, ball 2. Last year in the ALCS Game 5, Miguel Cabrera, who could only watch as that ball hit the bag, did the same to the Rangers on a ball that hit third. Put in a perfect spot The deflection for a double. But that was the end of a good at bat by Angel Pagan, who really had to battle Justin Verlander, who's behind on the count to Scutaro, 2-1. Good pitch, strike 2.
Good curveball from Verlander and a fastball count. He can leave a lot of hitters helpless, as he did Scutaro on that lock job.
Giants lead 1-0. A chance for another run. They need a hit from Scutaro. Verlander has struck out 3. Blocked by Avila. Full count.
Alex Avila has caught 23 of Verlander's starts, and Justin feels much more comfortable with Avila behind the plate. Nothing against Gerald Laird. There's a certain rhythm that a catcher and a pitcher have, and Avila and Verlander have it.
Fouled out of play off to the right.
Scutaro, one of the most tenacious two-strike hitters in the game. He has swung through only 15 pitches since August 1st.
Toughest to strike out in the league.
Two tough assignments going at each other right here.
Scutaro in battle mode. This will be the 8th pitch coming to Marco. Breaking ball, base hit into center. Pagan will score, and it's 2-0 Giants as Jackson kicks it in center. Scutaro still red hot.
If you're a baseball fan, I know what you're thinking. He did it again. And how do you get this guy out? Right now, you don't. That was a 3-2 curveball hit right back through the box. And Scutaro delivers again. That ball, Scutaro, right now has got to look like a watermelon.
So the double that hits the bag, and then Scutaro delivers as Sandoval takes ball 1. Pablo homered his first time up. Sandoval, fielder who was off the bag a bit, applied a late tag on Scutaro.
Yeah, Justin picked off Prince on that, not Marco.
Ball 2. Visit from the pitching coach, Jeff Jones. who typically doesn't have to worry about visits when Verlander makes a start.
Yeah, along with all the other things of Justin Verlander, as he is smiling.
He's like, what are you going to say?
Yeah, what are you doing out here? What are you doing out here? That's Gibson-esque right there.
He was stunned to turn around and see Jeff Jones making his way out of the dugout.
Only time either Jeff Jones or Jim Leyland has visited the mound, one would think, is in case Justin Verlander got hurt, as there was a scare back in September 24th, with his left shoulder.
The 2-0. Fly ball into left. Back at the wall. He's homered again. The Panda takes the trip, and it's 4-0 Giants here in the third.
Two home runs on two fastballs that traveled a total of 190 miles an hour. 95 miles an hour for each one. Man.
Sandoval turned one around to center and now goes with this one into left. And it's 4-0 here in the third inning for these red-hot Giants against Justin Verlander. And Justin can't believe it.
Even a wow from Verlander.
Two and one on Buster Posey. So a visit from Jeff Jones during that at bat. An at bat that ends with a two-run home run. Now Posey gets one into left. And he's on with two out here in the third.
In Game 7 against the Cardinals, we said the Giants can do no wrong. Well, thus far, in Game 1 of the World Series, that statement, I think we'll stand by that. All runs being scored with two outs tonight.
And the bullpen will get busy with Rick Porcello getting loose. Here in the third inning is Hunter Pence. Takes ball one, down and away. Who's having more fun than him? Strike one on Pence. And remember, all this started on that ball that was chopped to the left side by Pagan that hit the bag, got away from Cabrera for a double. Then Scudero, then Sandoval. Base hit by Posey, and the count 2-1 on Pence.
That is real momentum right there, Joe. With two outs and nobody on, Pagan hits the ball down the line, and everybody's thinking, if at all, if it's a base hit, he gets to first, a two-out infield hit, so what? Well, the ball hits the bag, goes to left field. Scudero gets a two-out, two-strike hit, and then the second home run for Sandoval.
2-1.
I think I just said Sandoval. I mixed the Pandas, Sandoval, and it came out Sandoval.
1 on, 2 out.
I might coin that.
T-shirts waiting to be made. tens of dollars. Here's a 2-2 pitch, ground ball left side, and a good pickup by Miguel Cabrera. The rally started with 2 out, and the ball that hit the base hit Scutaro. 2-run shot. Johnny Peralta for the Tigers against Zito. Giants pitchers have allowed 1 run over the last 31 innings. It started in the 8th inning of Game 4 against the Cardinals. Cards didn't bat in the 9th, and then they took care of, starting with Zito in Game 5 and on, the Cardinal bats. Fielder takes a strike. We're joined by Doug Fister, the outstanding right-hander for the Detroit Tigers during the inning, and that was shocking what happened in the bottom of the 3rd inning. This Giants team is rolling right now, Doug.
You know, they're swinging the bats well. They're all playing very hard with one another right now, and so you know, we got to do some things to combat that, and you know, got to really just work on keeping the ball down and using the defense.
How about extra rest? You know, everybody talks about your lineup, but extra rest that you guys are all working on in the rotation coming into this World Series.
You know, I think we used it to our advantage. The rest was needed. We definitely got our work in. We were at the ballpark every day. We were getting.
Here's a base hit into right center off the bat of Prince Fielder to start the 4th. Go ahead, Doug. Sorry.
No, anytime we get hit, that's a good thing. But no, we were in the ballpark. You know, we were working out, getting some sim games done, some inter squads, and making sure we're staying sharp. So. We definitely used the rest to our advantage.
You had a couple situations with injury during the season. How's your body feeling right now?
Right now, everything's feeling good. You know, I mean, it's you know, obviously a little chilly here, and so we got to stay warm and stay stretched. But for the most part, everything's good. So looking forward to tomorrow.
Doug, when you allow that first hitter of an inning to get on, the chances go up dramatically for a team to score, and you really bear down on that first guy, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, your focus is to get strike 1, and you know, that's a big thing as a pitcher. So you know, making sure that the first guy doesn't get on is one of our main focuses.
Zito with the leadoff man on, fired a strike, and now gets a swinging strike on Delmon Young, who, Doug Fister, was so good for you guys in that ALCS against the Yankees.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He swung the bat very well. He definitely likes hitting in Yankee Stadium. So, you know, just hopefully he can carry it on right now. He took some good at-bats in the inter squads and you know, carrying over right now.
Here's a chop. It's a fair ball. This will be a double play. Out at second. And then they throw it around as this ball was out in front of the plate. A tag of Delmon Young, and the out at second on the tag of Prince Fielder. And Jim Leland is going to find out what happened. I think Posey tagged the body of Delmon Young, fired to second, and they tagged Fielder for the out, and it's a double play.
When you make the tag, that takes the force out, and that ball was a fair ball. Delmon Young refused to run. Had he run, then Posey has to throw to second base, then get the force, and it's doubtful that the return throw would have gotten Delmon Young. But by staying at home, he presented Posey with the chance to make the tag. They threw to second, or Posey did, and Scutaro made the tag.
So now with 2 out, nobody on. Here's Peralta with a fly ball into right. So much for your good luck, Doug Fister. Go get him tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we appreciate your time. A double play after the leadoff hit by Fielder. Peralta, strike 1. It would be Blanco, who's made a nice catch out in left, and Brandon Crawford, as Barry Zito is through 4 scoreless innings. 4-0 Giants. Strike 2. Belt fly to center his first time up. Postseason, the first 3 starts, and the difference, 4 earned runs, doubling what he had allowed in 3 previous starts. 2 against Oakland, 1 against the Yankees, and the count 1-2 on Belt. Home plate umpire is Jerry Davis. He's wearing a microphone for us tonight. But you hear how that sounded at the plate on the double play in the top of the inning. That's up and away, 2-2, and with Verlander scheduled to hit 3rd in the 5th inning. This could be a short one for the right-hander.
A rare short one.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Outside, a full count. Belt facing Verlander for the first time tonight, draws a leadoff walk. First walk of the night by Verlander, and back to the audio from home plate umpire Jerry Davis on the double play. And then it took a tag on the back end of it. Second base umpire Field and Colbreth made sure Scutaro hung on. It was a double play ball with Posey feeding Scutaro, and Albuquerque, the right-hander, starts to loosen as Verlander steps off.
After thinking about that play, it was a very alert play by Buster Posey. But even had Delmon Young run or tried to run to first base, had he hit the ball or had the ball hit him, then he's out, but you don't get a double play. But any way you look, Tigers would have been much, much better off.
Here's a foul tip off the bat of Blanco, strike one. Gregor, his first time grounded out. We talked about it during the NLCS, but Melky Cabrera was suspended August 15th, and that day Blanco basically took over his spot in this lineup, and since then here at AT&T Park, Blanco hit .361. He can run, doesn't provide a ton of power. Hit only 5 home runs, and time called at the plate prior to the 0-1 pitch. The Giants put Melky Cabrera back on the 40-man roster off the suspended list. The suspension ended before the NLCS. It covered the 50 games. Giants could have activated Melky Cabrera, did not after the long layoff. Here they are in the World Series without a guy who, Tim, was not only the MVP of the All-Star game, but was in Melky Cabrera at least in the early MVP talk in the National League before he got caught.
Well, it made no sense whatsoever to put him on the postseason roster. None. Bad for morale, and I don't think Melky Cabrera expected to be put on the postseason roster.
Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal is with us. Ken.
Well, Joe, he's got that long layoff, so how effective would he even be if he were here? And the other thing is, the Giants vibe. They have like a band of brothers, and Cabrera was not part of that. Cabrera left this team basically without saying a word to his teammates, and they don't want to disrupt that right now.
Well, it is obvious that they made the right decision.
Absolutely.
Blanco waits for the 2-1. 2-2. The other part of it, though, is they put Melky Cabrera back on the 40-man roster so they would have that exclusive window after the World Series to be able to negotiate with Melky if they want to bring him back. Buster Posey had the highest average across baseball, not just in the National League. They lost inning. Good pitch by Verlander, drills the inside corner. Strikeout number 4 for Justin Verlander, and the batter is Crawford. Crawford 0 for 1. Strike one. You mentioned Bob Gibson earlier, and cut from that same cloth, out of the same type mold as Verlander. Was Gibson a guy who added velocity as the game went deeper?
He never lost it. He started strong. You know, he was like a lot of other great pitchers. Seaver was like that. You had to get him early if you're going to get him. And the same is true with Verlander. Got to get him early. It took Bob an inning and a half to loosen up. And once that happened, there was no slowing him down. I don't know if he gained speed, but he didn't lose it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Crawford, who lined to left his first time up. He just got a piece in the count 1-2.
Here in San Francisco, Joe, probably the greatest game ever pitched on July 2nd, 1963, between Juan Marichal and Warren Spahn. We say that because the great Verlander's on the mound. That night was a 16-inning, 1-0 Giant win. Both pitchers going all the way. Willie Mays with a game-winning hit in the bottom of the 16th. Juan Marichal that night threw 234 pitches.
Runner goes, ground ball right side off the bat of Crawford for Infante, 2 out.
Warren Spahn faced 56 hitters that night. Juan Marichal faced 59 hitters. And Herman Franks, the manager of the Giants, after every inning, he wanted to take the Dominican dandy, Juan Marichal, out of the game. And Marichal said, if that old man can pitch, I'm going to pitch. I'm pitching as long as he does. So the 42-year-old Spahn and Marichal go 16 innings head-to-head. Probably the greatest game ever pitched at Candlestick.
Verlander with 2 out in the inning, a runner at second. Barry Zito at the plate. This is as big a mismatch as we'll see the entire World Series. Zito struck out his first time, and he's ahead on the count here, 1-0. Brandon Belt, the runner at second, 2 out. He was moving on that ground ball hit by Crawford. 2-0. Again, Verlander is due up third in the 5th inning, so this could be it for the 29-year-old right-hander. Two out, Belt at second. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. And just in case Zito wanted to try and drop one down like he did in Game 5 in St. Louis against Lance Lynn, Cabrera is pulled in at third. He went back 2 steps after that second strike. Here's a 2-2 pitch. How about that? Base hit into left field. Here comes Belt. It's 5-0, and Zito has an RBI base hit with 2 out in the 4th.
We were talking about the laws of physics the last time Zito was up, saying that if he made contact, it had to be to left field. Well, he makes contact beyond the outstretched glove of Cabrera, and Delmon Young's throw is in the ground. It went straight in the ground.
Bell was going to score anyway.
Right.
The throw didn't matter, but how about Zito? And how about 4 straight games for the Giants starting pitchers to knock in a run?
That's a sound he has not heard in this park too often. The sound of Barry.
They used to say it for somebody else around here.
When Barry Manilow was playing in a concert.
Or Barry Bonds. Barry Manilow pitches up and away to Angel Pagan. Zito, they don't hold against him at first with 2 out. 1-1 the count.
I got you.
The point is they know how to chant Barry. 1 on, 2 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Verlander, strike 2. Come back to me over there.
Sorry.
1-2 the count. This started with a leadoff walk.
It's one of those moments.
1 on, 2 out. The next fouled out of play left side off the bat of Pagan, who hit that double off the third base bag in the third. He scored on an RBI hit with Scudero at the plate. And it was followed by a 2-out, 2-run shot by Sandoval. They made it 4-0. It's now 5-0. The latest RBI by Zito. Here is a 1-2 pitch. Good rip by Pagan. And that's as hard as Verlander's thrown all night. That was 97. Dave Dombrowski, who is the president, CEO, general manager, his 11th season with Detroit. One of the most respected front office men in the game. Here's another 1-2. There's another foul ball. First time for Zito since June of 2010. He's had back-to-back games with hits. A bunt hit to St. Louis, and this a line drive base hit into left.
And 2 RBIs to go along with it.
Here's a 1-2. Pagan. He's getting a good swing as Verlander has cranked it up to 97 miles per hour. Right side should end the inning. Infante to his left takes care of it, but the Giants add to their lead. 5-0 as Barry Zito's doing it on the mound at the plate. Back after this from your local Fox station. Francisco on top as we go to the 5th inning, and Zito is in on the hitting fun with an RBI base hit. Avisail Garcia is first up, bottom 3 in the lineup, and you expect a pinch hitter for Verlander, who is up to 98 pitches on the night through 4 innings. Giants have 5 runs on 6 hits. The Tigers no runs on 3 hits. And Albuquerque goes back down to the bullpen as Danny Worth is waiting to follow Avila to the plate here in the 5th. Here's a 1-0. 2-0 in a 5-0 game. '66 of the 98 pitches by Verlander in the last 2 innings. Giants made him work. That's hard hit, but right at Crawford on a 2-0 pitch. 1 out. And you see how good that arm is of the young San Francisco shortstop. Here's a game summary. Pablo Sandoval, 3rd Giant World Series history with a 2-homer game, and he did it against Verlander in the 1st and in the 3rd. Nobody on, and Alex takes a strike. The night is finished for Verlander, and just a 4-inning night. He allows 5 runs on 6 hits. That's a fair ball, and out number 2 off the bat of Avila. And so we've seen the last of Verlander on the mound. And it's our Nikon replay, the faces of Justin Verlander, who turns in his shortest start since he pitched 4 innings in Game 1 of the 2011 LCS. A 3-2 loss to the Rangers, and that was that look of disbelief when his pitching coach Jeff Jones was coming out, and shortly thereafter Pablo Sandoval got him for the 2nd time in the game. Here's Worth, and there's strike 1.
So uncharacteristic of Justin Verlander. In fact, the last time he gave up more earned runs in a game on September 8th against the Angels. He gave up 6 earned runs that night.
Big breaking ball, and Worth is now in the hole 0-2. Fastball misses at 84 miles per hour, and the next pitch will be number 60. With the number 9 man in the order at the plate, the pinch hitter Danny Worth. Into the Giants dugout.
We asked Miguel Cabrera how he would approach Barry Zito. He said, take the single, take the walk, take what he gives you. So far, he has not given the Tigers anything.
That'll get out of play. And it stays 2-2. And Worth broke his bat. Guys talked about it during the pregame. In his World Series career, 0-2 record coming in. That was from his rookie season, 2006 against St. Louis. Two. Foul. How about Zito? Halfway through game number 1, 5-0 Giants. Pablo Sandoval due up second for San Francisco. Al Albuquerque out of the bullpen, taking over for Verlander, and that breaking ball misses down and away with Scutaro, Sandoval, Posey, the hitters. What a night for Pablo Sandoval. Another 2-out RBI hit for Scutaro. That happened in the 3rd inning. He scored on the home run by the guy behind him. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Slow chopper to Infante. 1 out. Pablo Sandoval tonight. 2 at bats, 2 home runs. 0-2 pitch for the 3 home run club. Pujols did it last year. Reggie in '77. The Babe did it twice in '26 and '28. And he loses his bat. Thankfully, that ball, or the bat rather, stayed on this side of that fence behind the on-deck circle.
It looked like the knob of the bat had a chip in it, or perhaps that occurred when it hit the fence. You can see the knob of the bat. I think it hit the fence, chipped the knob. That is a rarity for it to do that. But I think the extraordinary thing about Sandoval is how different those pitches were. One was, there it is right there. I mean, how many times have you seen something like that happen?
Here's a ball that bounces in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Those pitches were so different. One was up and in, the other was low and away. That was about a 54-footer from Albuquerque.
Albuquerque had to bounce back from right elbow surgery this year. Wasn't activated until the 3rd week of August. Into center, at the wall. Another. Pablo Sandoval with a 3-homer game in World Series game number 1. And a curtain call from Pablo Sandoval.
I would think so.
How about what the Giants have done for these fans here at home since the NLCS returned for games 6 and 7, and now tonight 2.5 games. They've outscored the opposition 21-1.
Sandoval had 12 home runs in the regular season. He has never had a 3-home run game, ever, until tonight.
He's got 6 home runs this postseason.
Half as many as he had during the regular season.
1-2 the count. Posey rolls it over to third. Nice play by Cabrera. Wow. 2 out. With the bases empty, the batter will be Hunter Pence. We give you another look.
Keep in mind, the Giants had the fewest home runs in the majors, 103. And this ballpark, the toughest park in which to hit the ball out of.
Here's Pence with 2 out. 6-0 game. Strike 1. And the momentum by the Giants that they had from games 5, 6, and 7. It's trumped the rest that the Tigers had coming into this World Series 5 days off. So much surrounds the starting pitchers. Zito's been outstanding again, and Jim Leyland handed the ball to the best in the game, and the Giants have taken care of the rest. Now a 1-1 pitch, and another one bounces in there from Albuquerque. It's 2-1. Pence has struck out and bounced out. Here's the 2-1. Good pitch. 2-2. You know, the first 2 at-bats by Sandoval, you think, well, 2 strikes. First in the first at-bat, an 0-2 pitch. Verlander stayed with the fastball. Sandoval's a free swinger. He hit 2 fastballs out. Now this one in the mid-80s that he goes down to get and shoot out into center. So he's done it 3 different ways.
Yeah, that's right.
What a night. 2 solo shots and a 2-run shot. Pablo Bear just reminds all of us how cancer has touched every life in some shape or form, with somebody you're related to, somebody you're close with. And a nice moment with the players joining in, the umpires, the managers, and these fans. And the work that Stand Up to Cancer has done is
unbelievable.
It's extraordinary. So you can go to standup2cancer.org to find out how you can help today. That is well worth your time on the internet, and something taken very seriously by Major League Baseball. It's been a great partnership. From Gregor Blanco defensively, Barry Zito, Tim, continues to change the eye level of hitters. He doesn't blow you away, but he is effective again here tonight. Did not allow a run in his start in Game 5 of the NLCS, and nothing tonight.
When we came on the air tonight, we talked about the importance of Austin Jackson getting on, and Barry Zito has retired, and you heard from Doug Fister about how important it was to get the leading lady, as Joe Becker, an old pitching coach, used to say. But that leadoff man, that is pivotal to the success of any pitcher. And Austin Jackson coming up, that's happened only one time. Prince Fielder led off the 4th inning with a single. So the leadoff batter through the first 5 has gotten on only once.
And they're doing it, the Tigers, against a that's been a problem for this Tiger team.
That's right, Joe. People who have watched the Tigers during the regular season should not be surprised by what Zito is doing tonight. The Tigers were only 26-25 in games left-handers started against them this season. Batting average, slugging percentage, much lower against lefties than righties, and those trends have continued into the postseason. Now, the Giants are starting another left-hander, Madison Bumgarner, in Game 2 tomorrow night. But it's the soft tossers like Zito who have given the Tigers the most trouble.
2-0 is the count. And even though this game has been lopsided, you know, with the kind of firepower the Tigers have in this lineup, they don't feel out of this ball game. There's a strike, and again, we'll say what we said earlier. The bullpen is loaded for the Giants, and any hint of trouble, you have to believe Bruce Bochy will get those guys active.
And the biggest hint in this inning would be allowing Austin Jackson to get on base.
2-1 the count. Jackson 1 for 2, and he's on base. He shoots one down the left field line. Going to get it is Blanco. Cuts it off, but it's a leadoff stand-up double for Austin Jackson, who's 2 out of 3 tonight.
I think we'll see action in the Giant bullpen. And the one thing the Giant bullpen can do, it can left and right and left and right. They have 3 left-handers down there. So this is their time as far as the bullpen is concerned, but Detroit's trying to make it their time.
Here's Infante now, 1 for 2 on the night. No action yet for the Giants in their pen as we play here in the 6th. Infante has a single. He is struck out. Dave Righetti, longtime pitching coach here with the Giants, watching closely with Barry Zito working to Infante. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
Just thinking, Infante trailing by 6 with Detroit. He's a very good bunter. And Sandoval at third, even with the bag, but a good time to do it.
He wasn't even with the bag prior to that first
That's
pitch.
right. That's right. He was deeper.
Here's the 0-1. Inside, a ball and a strike. So after Infante, you get Miguel Cabrera. After Cabrera, you get Prince Fielder. After Fielder, you get Delman Young, who was the MVP of the ALCS. So that was a big leadoff double by Austin Jackson, trying to get something started for the Tigers. Fly ball into center. Back is Pagan in front of the track. 1 out. Tagging going to third is Jackson. And Infante 1 for 3 tonight. The World Series is sponsored by Bank of America, official bank of Major League Baseball. by Gatorade. Gatorade knows it all begins within. Win from within. And by Jennie-O Turkey Store, make the switch. Look for Jennie-O Turkey at a store near you. Runner at third, one out. The batter Cabrera was walked and lined out. He was robbed of a hit, maybe an RBI hit, in the third inning on a nice catch by Blanco in left. Breaking ball doesn't break.
In this situation, the Giants would take a sacrifice fly. It's one of those situations where you're really not as concerned about the guy at third because you've got a 6-run lead, and this guy is so dangerous. You'll take that sac fly in a second to get the out.
Up and away again. It's 2-0. On deck is Fielder, who's 1 for 2.
Also a situation where there's no thought of pitching around Cabrera.
There's Delmon Young waiting, hoping he gets a chance with the men on. There's a 2-0. May have chased. 2-1. Looks like he chased ball 3, and they count 2 balls and a strike. Leadoff double by Jackson at third with 1 out. Strike 2. Left side foul. Cabrera gets time at the plate.
Get the feeling there are 47,000 pitching coaches pulling for Zito in this ballpark.
Backed in watching a 2-2 pitch. Runner at third, 1 out. And a fly ball into center. That ball's going to drop for a hit. Tigers are on the board, and it's Cabrera who delivers their first run of the night. A double, a fly out to center, and now the AL's Triple Crown winner, Miguel Cabrera, makes it a 5-run game.
Good 2-strike hitter. And Pagan in center field has to respect his power, of course. 44 home runs on the year. So he's playing deep. And the Tigers score a run.
Tim Lincecum is going to start to get loose.
Thing about Lincecum, even when he starts a game, he never needs more than 15 pitches to warm up.
Here's Fielder. Smothered by Posey at the plate. Prince is one of 6 players in the history of the game to switch leagues and end up with 30 or more home runs, 100 or more RBIs. His teammate Miguel Cabrera did it when he went from the Marlins to the Tigers in 08. That is outside, and the count 2-0. Delmon Young on deck, Tim, and if Fielder gets aboard with Delmon Young coming up in what is a 5-run game, Lincecum may be right into the action.
I get your drift, and I think you're right.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. That's into left field. Blanco, another! His second of the game. 2 out in the inning. What a play by Gregor Blanco to rob Prince Fielder.
And you could put a blanket over the distance of where that first catch was with the second catch.
He robbed Cabrera in the 3rd, and now he gets Prince Fielder here in the 6th. And here's the drive by Cabrera. Just about the same spot. Now it's Delmon Young. That's up the middle, a base hit. Cabrera will stop at second with 2 out, and Johnny Peralta will be the batter. Peralta's had a very big postseason. Will he face Zito or will it be Lincecum?
Posey out to talk to Zito, and this is one of those conversations catchers don't like, because Posey is buying Lincecum time right now. I don't think Bruce Bochy can afford to wait much longer, but keep in mind Lincecum warms up just like that. When he starts a game, rarely more than 15 pitches, and he's ready.
Zito got the start. Zito doesn't want to come out, but he's done his job tonight as he exits in the 6th. Ball 1 inside. Peralta started this night hitting .343 in the postseason, 2 home runs. They came in Game 4 of the ALCS. He is a shortstop with power. Strike 1. Lincecum started Game 4 of the NLCS. All the other action has been out of the bullpen. You got a win in relief. The division series in Cincinnati in relief of Zito. Strike 2.
Prior to this year, Lincecum had never pitched out of the bullpen professionally.
Lincecum slams the door in the top of the 6th. Zito started the inning, started the ball game, pitched great. Gave way to Lincecum, who got out of the jam. It's a 5-run game, 6-1. Albuquerque misses, up and away, ball 1. Brandon drew an important walk in the 4th inning. He scored on a 2-out RBI hit by Barry Zito. Pops it up into left. Delmon Young to his right. 1 out. If you go back to 2006, remember the Tigers had 6 days off before the start of the World Series. This year 5. Score of that game in 2006 in Game 1 was 7-2. Tonight 6-1. Verlander was the starter and loser then. He's the starter here tonight. Remains to be seen if he gets a decision. And the hits. The Tigers have 6 tonight. Had only 4 against Anthony Reyes, a right-hander who made that start and pitched brilliantly for the Cardinals to begin the '06 World Series. Here's Gregor Blanco. He may be 0 for 2 at the plate, but he is 2 for 2 out in left field with diving catches, 1 to Rob Cabrera and the latest to Rob Fielder.
And the last one was a big one, and I mean a big one.
Here's a 1-1 pitch from Albuquerque. On the outside corner, strike 2. Blanco is grounded out, struck out. Lincecum will go back out there. for the 7th. Nobody is up in the bullpen. That's up and away, 2-2. That may change if the Giants get something going offensively, as Lincecum is 2 hitters away.
Yeah, I think 1 on, he hits. 2 on, maybe a pinch hitter.
Here's a 2-2. 2 out. And strikeout number 2 for Albuquerque. Tomorrow, Foxtoberfest continues. Our month-long extravaganza. Great matchups, and it's game 2 of the World Series on the air at 7:30 when healthy after getting picked up last year by Dave Dombrowski from Seattle. That's down and in. And a check swing by Crawford. With 2 out, it's ball 1. Brandon fly to left in the 3rd, grounded out to 2nd in the 4th. Breaking ball is in for strike 1. Talking to Jim Leyland before the game, he said he wanted to wait until his club was on the road instead of at the end of that blowout victory in game 4 against the Yankees in the ALCS to get Valverde an inning to try and get some of his confidence back. And that inning may be forthcoming. He's been the closer until recently. Had a rough outing against the A's and then blew a save in game 1 of the ALCS. Phil Koch took care of the closing the rest of the way. Crawford, strike 2.
Valverde 49 for 49 last season. And Joe, we did that game the first Saturday of the regular season. Detroit and the Red Sox, when Valverde blew his first save of the season, and the Tigers were saying, well, that's out of the way. Not another 49 for 49, but he has really had a bad year for the Tigers.
Here is a 2-2. Crawford takes up and away. Albuquerque started to leave the mound, and he has to come back with a full count. So a 3-2 count after that one missed up and away. Crawford with 2 out, nobody on. Rolls it over right side, and Fonte to his left. Nice play. And the inning is over. We go to the 7th inning, game 1 of this World Series. Tigers coming up, down by 5. Back after this from your local Fox station. In the top of the 7th. And he will deal with Garcia, the rookie. And then Avila, then a pinch hitter. Valverde continuing to get loose. Strike 1. 2-time Cy Young Award winner in 08 and 09. Working out of the bullpen for Bruce Bochy. Bochy would love to get him through this inning and then lift him for a pinch hitter in the bottom of this 7th. Garcia's grounded out twice. That one rides up and in, a ball and a strike.
It's almost a twofold reason for Lincecum to do well here in the World Series. To restore his confidence so he can get back in the Giants rotation next year.
Guy who led the National League in strikeouts 3 straight years. A rough season in 2012, 10 and 15. That is strike 2. ERA of 5.18. You mentioned it, Tim, when he made that start in St. Louis, game 4, 17 wild pitches. Velocity not what it was. Trying to get it back. Prefers now working out of the stretch. Even with nobody on. The 1-2. Smothered by Posey. 2-2. Avisail Garcia on 2-2. Ball 3. And like it was, Tim, with Zito, There's not going to be a lot of room for error here for Lincecum with the kind of weapons Bruce Bochy has at his disposal in the bullpen. Lopez, Affeldt, Casilla, Romo.
Left-handers and right-handers.
It was 1-2. Now it's 3-2. And it'll stay there.
Lincecum is the type of pitcher that can get away with a decrease in velocity if the illusion of a strike is still there. That's very, very important in his arsenal. There's a lot of deception with that delivery, the splitter, the changeup. He's in a position now where he's got to throw a fastball with a 5-run lead.
He gets a swinging strikeout to start the 7th.
So the illusion of a strike was there. That more than velocity is what Lincecum was lacking. Actually, that's a slider, not a fastball. And it serves as the illusion of a strike. I mentioned in the League Championship Series, David Cohn's comment this year doing a Yankee game, that if a pitcher can throw strikes that look like balls and balls that look like strikes, that's the right formula.
1 out, nobody on. Avila takes ball 1. Alex tonight 0 for 2. It was a decision to be made by Jim Leyland with the start of Verlander, and he called on Avila. They've got a good option in Gerald Laird, who won it all with St. Louis last year, and now he's back in the World Series with Detroit, and he had a very good season and allowed Avila to not get worn down as much during the course of the season like he did last year. And he limped through the postseason. That misses, and it's 2-1. Tigers won 88 games and won the AL Central by 3 over the White Sox. They were a team that was 5 games under 500 on the road under Jim Leyland. Off the hands, strike 2. Giants won 94 games and ran away with the NL West. Another full count. And that's got Lincecum shaking his head as that pitch bounced in on 2-2. Two out. Three batters faced, 3 strikeouts for Tim Lincecum. All 3 swinging strikeouts. Peralta to end the top of the 6th. Garcia, Avila here in the 7th. The batter will be Quentin Berry. The bat for Albuquerque, who went 2 innings, allowed 1 run on 1 hit. That hit, the 3rd home run of the night by Pablo Sandoval. Strike 1.
I'll tell you, Joe, I don't know whether you noticed it or not, but that little nod of relief after that strikeout with Posey out there showed, to me, a relaxed expression on Lincecum's face. Maybe not the weight of the world off your shoulders, but relief and relaxation.
Here's a chop to the right side. Scudero waits, gets the speedy Berry. When you talk about relief, that's exactly what Tim Lincecum has provided tonight for Barry Zito and the Giants. Time to stretch in game 1. It's the first time in World Series history since '83 that one Cy Young Award winner relieved another. And Jim Palmer relieved Mike Flanagan.
How about that?
And let's take you to the Rennell Brooks Moon for the introduction of God Bless America. Third pitcher of the night, Verlander, 4 innings. Albuquerque, 2. And now Valverde, who all told regular and postseason last year was 52 of 52 in save opportunities, and he has lost that closer role after struggling against Oakland and then coming right back 2 games later in game 1 of the ALCS and blowing a lead in the 9th inning, a 4-0 lead.
That was about as bad a body language after that Raul Ibanez pinch hit home run as I have ever seen in a pitcher, Joe.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Trying to almost will it not to go over the fence in right center at Yankee Stadium. It did, and that tied it at 4.
This season, 36 of 42 in save opportunities. Opponents hitting .243 against him. Regular and postseason. Last year, just over 200 at .204. A lot of his stuff is flattened out. He misses at 92. He was working with his pitching coach, Jeff Jones, during that time off, the 5 days off. Here's Jeff, and they found a flaw. They thought the right leg was dragging. And he's letting the ball go in that process, and it was taking some of the velocity away from his pitching stuff. He's facing Tim Lincecum, who throws right, bats left, and 4 hits during the regular season. And the count's 2-2.
It is just a very, very short time where you have to correct that flaw, and you have to do it on baseball's biggest stage, and it's very, very difficult. But the ideal time to pitching is tonight, and Jim Leyland knows that.
A good swing by Lincecum at a 91-mile-per-hour pitch. Leyland, a very interested observer. What Valverde can do, getting an inning of work in, and he is running full. Pretty good pitch. Didn't get the call. He stares in, and it's a full count. Yankees hit 157, but the red-hot Giants, 6 runs, all 3 home runs hit by Sandoval here in game 1. Lincecum strikes out. Geico in-game box score for the Giants. Who else would you highlight? The man in the number 3 spot, 3 for 3 with 3 home runs. He will get another at bat before the end of the night as Angel Pagan walks in. Posey has a hit tonight. Pagan, this batter, bounced one off the third base bag, which led to a 3-run 3rd inning. Went for a double, his only hit tonight. With 1 out, nobody on. Pagan takes a strike.
This may seem like a small thing to the average fan, but I'll tell you, players really appreciate this. You've got a 2-time Cy Young Award winner who gave up 6 earned runs tonight, very short period of time, and he went in and he came back out. That says an awful lot. I mean, that speaks volumes and tells you what kind of guy Justin Verlander is.
And teammate.
And teammate. There are very few pitchers that are team-oriented. It's such an individual position. Nothing starts until they initiate the action. So, by their very nature, the definition of them is individual.
Here's Pagan lining one into the right field corner. Garcia can't get to it to cut it off, and Pagan will be content with a stand-up double here with one out in the seventh. His second double of the night.
Pagan led the National League in triples with 15, and he had that on his mind. The splitter, that's the first splitter Valverde has thrown, and it's crushed by Pagan.
We've seen this throughout the postseason from Pagan. The salute after the double. Here is Scutaro. 1 for 3. RBI single and a run scored in that 3-run third. Best fastball of the night from Valverde, and it's strike one. Joaquin Benoit, the right-hander, is up, not throwing yet.
And I'm sure that Jim Leyland hates the fact that he's got to get Benoit up, trying to restore confidence in Valverde.
Such a big part of what the Tigers have in their bullpen, Valverde. 0-2. It was a 2-strike, 2-out RBI hit for Scutaro in the third. And he's set up at 0-2 here. Left side, base hit. Pagan makes it 7-1 as he scores on another 2-strike hit by Marcos Scutaro.
There are a lot of words to describe Scutaro's performance in the postseason. I can't think of many more than relentless. He just does not stop.
His first World Series opportunity here tonight. 2 more hits. And here is Pablo Sandoval looking for home run number 4.
Boy, does that sound strange.
Ball 1, down and away. He's on a list, a World Series list with Babe Ruth, Reggie Jackson, and Albert Pujols. It's never happened in the postseason. One player to hit 4 home runs in one game. He's got a base hit. It's into left center field. Scutaro will turn and go. And it's a 4-hit night for Pablo Sandoval. Time for the Nikon replay. Albert Pujols last year, a 3-homer game in Game 3 of the World at the plate. And if this is an audition to regain his job as the closer for Valverde, it's not going well.
No.
Posey 1 for 3, takes a pitch down and in, ball 1. Good fastball there, and it's a 1-1 count. Posey just 9 hits and 48 at-bats in the postseason.
Yeah, Buster's pulling off. If he goes to right field with a couple of hits, it's amazing how that can make you well. You get back into the position of driving the ball.
That's into right, a base hit, and it's 8-1 Giants here in the 7th.
Even if it's a clunker.
And there will be no confidence rebuilding for Valverde tonight. That's the end of his evening. As Benoit is getting ready. Valverde out of the ball game. Ben on. And awkward in that dugout when he came back.
And we were watching that while we were away, and it's just the loneliest feeling when no one knows what to do. Joe was talking about discovering a flaw in his motion in the World Series. Certainly no place to test it, but they have to do that. And even in shaking his hands and patting him on the back, it was so awkward and lonely. What his teammates were going through, and he was going through.
Hunter Pence at the plate, 2 on 1 out. First pitch a strike. Talking to Dotel. Benoit forced to relieve Valverde here in the 7th. Joaquin having a tough time seeing the signs put down by Avila.
Asking questions that have no answers.
Here's the 0-1. Hunter Pence. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now George Contos, the right-hander, will get loose. This has turned into a long half inning in the bottom of the 7th. 2 more runs and 8-1 Giant lead. The 1-1. Backing out of play, strike 2. That's us as we come toward the top of the hour. Game 1 of this 2012 World Series. San Francisco is led from the first inning on. A home run by Pablo Sandoval. He had another in the 3rd. He had another in the 5th. It was at 1.6 to nothing. It's now 8-1. That gets away, and the runners will advance to 2nd and 3rd on a wild pitch by Benoit.
Looked like a splitter. Martineau, a fastball. Catchers are not expecting fastball. No, it was a splitter. Trust your instincts. That ball was a tough play for Alex Avila. Now the infield has to be pulled in, and I would imagine we'll see Contos at the top of the inning.
Porcello now goes down to get loose for the Tigers. Here's a 2-2. 2 out. And a strikeout of Hunter Pence. 3rd time he has struck out tonight. Pablo Sandoval with 3 home runs. That's his first. That's his second. Good pitch. Bottom fell out of that. Strike 1.
That was a good splitter. Benoit with very good stuff. Most good splitters, hitters swing over the top of them, and they're rarely strikes. The good ones are out of the strike zone.
Here's the 0-1. 0-2. Belt is flied out twice, walked and scored a run. There's Porcello. But it's Benoit on the mound now. With 2 out, runners at second and third, and an 0-2 count. 8-1 game. Ball 1. Belt a .320 hitter here at home. 2012. That just missed. 2-2. 96 from Benoit. Sandoval and Posey, the runners on with 2 out. 2 more runs home here in the 7th. And a 2-2 pitch. Inning is over. Back-to-back strikeouts by Benoit, of Pence, and Belt. But it's been all Giants tonight. 2 more runs on the board. A 7-run lead as we played 7 in game 1. 2-1.
I thought those 2 extra runs the Giants scored meant that Contos would go back out there, and then perhaps Bruce Bochy would have Lincecum ready for tomorrow night. But he's probably trying to space him and have a couple of days between tonight's performance and maybe have him ready for game 3.
Yeah, he may tell you that Lincecum's not going to work back-to-back games. Doesn't matter. Pitch count.
Right.
Jackson trying to get on base for the 3rd time tonight and do it leading off an inning. For the 2nd time he went. And that's strikeout number 4 for Tim Lincecum. 1 out here in the 8th.
Well, we were talking about the illusion of a strike, and again, Austin Jackson goes too far. You know, the Detroit Tigers know of no other pitcher in the American League who throws like Tim Lincecum. He is so unusual in that delivery. Velocity is important, but not as important with most pitchers. He jumps at the hitter.
Here's Infante. Ball 1. Omar 1 for 3, singled in the 1st. Tigers put 2 on in the 1st, but then Fielder popped out. Young bounced out. At the bottom of the inning, Pablo Sandoval hit a home run, and the Giants have never trailed here in game 1. 1 out, nobody on, 2-0 the count. And Infante, who saw plenty of Lincecum in the National League, meaning Lincecum, hits the outside corner. 2-1. Zito on his way to a 2-0 record this postseason. Now watching after his first World Series start in his long career. 2 out. Scudero takes care of Infante. This year, 2 lucky consumers won the chance to play with MLB legends through the Pepsi Max Field of Dreams program. Fans voted, and the game will be played in the hometown of AL Consumer winner Johnny Parati from Rochester, New York. Parati, his friends, and 5 AL MLB legends will host the NL Consumer winner Stephen Katchmark from Washington, D.C. Log on to MLB.com/Pepsi Max for details. 2 out, nobody on. Here is Cabrera. Miguel's been on base twice with a walk and RBI single. There isn't anybody that's a more imposing figure at the plate than Miguel Cabrera, standing right on top of it, waving the bat. Where do you go? That's up, and the count 1-1.
He almost has no weaknesses. He's so quick inside. If you can get him to chase, and he takes enough walks to where he doesn't do that a lot.
Fouls it away right side, strike 2.
There are 2 guys in the major leagues, to me, that have almost no holes. Albert Pujols, when he's hitting well, and Miguel Cabrera.
Still loud and still packed here at AT&T Park. 2 out, 1-2 pitch. A strikeout by Lincecum, who has been perfect through 2 1/3. Bottom of the 8th inning rolls in. Number 55 pitching well as the Giants lead by 7. We thank the Who for allowing us to use the music in this World Series game number 1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Rager Blanco against the 5th pitcher of the night for the Tigers, Rick Porcello. Blanco first up. Blanco 0 for 3, but he's made 2 outstanding catches in left. Now in the hole 0-2. Porcello made 31 starts during the regular season, was 10-12. ERA of just over 4.5. That's strike 3. And 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. The World Series is sponsored by layaways back at Walmart on select items. See stores for details and fees. By the Nikon One, a different kind of Nikon. And by Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Tablet, phone, best of both. The next big thing is here. Here's Crawford. By the way, just so you know, the 3-homer game by Pablo Sandoval is the second 3-homer game in the history of this ballpark, which goes back to 2000. This is the 13th season the Giants have played in this beautiful stadium. The only other guy to do it and have a 3-homer game, Kevin Elster of the Dodgers, longtime New York Met, who did it on April 11th, 2000 in the first game in this ballpark.
How about that? And everybody thought, well, this ballpark, the ball is really going to carry. No, sir.
Here's one into center. Will that carry to Jackson? Yep. 2 out, and a nice catch by Austin Jackson. And we welcome you inside our broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. That's Tim McCarver. Aaron Andrews down in the field along with Kenny Rosenthal. And who could have expected that Justin Verlander would struggle here tonight? And who could have expected that Barry Zito would end up lasting longer and out pitching Justin Verlander?
And who could have expected Pablo Sandoval hitting 3 home runs?
I had that one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I knew that was right. Here's a ground ball left side. What a play. Miguel Cabrera takes a hit away from Aubrey Huff, the pinch hitter. And that will send game 1 into the 9th inning. How about the last 2 defensive plays by the Tigers? Austin Jackson in center. Miguel Cabrera at third. 9th inning. 8-1 Giants. As Joaquin Arias takes over at third base. Pablo Sandoval has done his damage for the night with his bat, a 4-hit night, a 3-homer night. And Jose Mijares is the left-hander. With Cantos still up, right-handed batters coming up. This is likely a 1-hitter outing for Mijares. 2 strikes.
the Giants, of all things, had problems in the 6th inning. And so they picked up Mijares from Kansas City on waivers on August 6th. And Bruce Bochy saying he actually helped this team in the 6th inning because it was odd. A lot of teams capitalizing and beating the Giants with runs in the 6th inning.
Arias had him played perfectly, gets it on a short hop and gets the out. Just into the game, and Mijares goes 1/3 of an inning. And by the way, that's on the heels of Tim Lincecum. You've got a couple of Cy Young Award winners sitting there, veterans. The lefty Zito, who got the start, he'll get the win tonight, barring a miraculous comeback. And Lincecum went 2 1/3, no hits, 5 strikeouts. Mijares, his night finished in game 1. Cantos coming in.
You look at Lincecum retiring 7 in a row, 5 strikeouts, laughing that same easy laugh and smile that he had back in 2010.
He was 4-1 that postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the peace on his face. Game can be cruel and the game can be uplifting.
Here's a 1-0. That breaking ball misses. 2-0. Peralta at the plate. Johnny is 0 for 3. And it was Peralta Lincecum faced out of the bullpen with 2 on, a run home, 2 out. And Lincecum struck him out. That ended the top of the 6th. 2-1.
George Cantos, on the other hand, traded for Chris Stewart from the New York Yankees right after spring training, and you know it had to enter his mind that, uh-oh, there goes my chance of being in the World Series. I'll be with the Giants, not the Yankees.
Here's a fly ball into center. Back is Pagan at the wall. It's gone. Johnny Peralta's made this a 5-run game. And he's hit now 3 home runs over his last 2 postseason games as he gets his first hit of the night.
In a ballpark that is so difficult to homer, we have seen 3 homers to center and an opposite field homer to left. Ball hitting
got a piece.
Pagan's glove, and then the top of the wall and bouncing up and over.
And a subdued celebration for the home run for Peralta, as that just makes this a 5-run game. And Dave Righetti is out to talk to Cantos, with Jeremy Affeldt, the left-hander, getting loose now in case this inning starts to get out of hand. Andy Dirks will be the pinch hitter, and Pagan knows that he came awfully close, off his glove and over the wall to make it 8-3. Garcia lifted for Dirks, who hit .322 during the regular season. There's Affeldt. After Dirks, it's Avila, another left-handed batter. That's strike 2. Andy Dirks backs out of there, gets back in. Third pinch hitter of the night for the Tigers, and he grounds back to Cantos. Giants 1 out away from a Game 1 victory, 2 out in the ninth. And it's up to Alex Avila to try to keep the top of the ninth inning alive. He has struck out, grounded out twice. A game that started as a matchup between Barry Zito making his first World Series start, and Justin Verlander, the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner and MVP. All the rest for Verlander, all the rest for the Tigers, but all the momentum for the Giants. They got a run in the bottom of the first, never trailed, and lead by 5 in the 9th. The 0-1. A ball and a strike. It's a matchup with Doug Fister, the right-hander, tomorrow night in Game 2 against Madison Bumgarner, who's 0-2 this postseason. Here is a 1-1 pitch. 2-1. The Giants lost Game 1 of their division series here at home to the Reds. Lost Game 1 of the NLCS here at home to the Cardinals. As the count goes to 3-1. 1 out away from a victory in Game 1 of the World Series before this home crowd. Ramon Santiago on deck. 2 out, nobody on. Strike 2 on Avila. Zito tonight, 5 2/3, 1 run on 6 hits. Barry's 1 strike away from his first World Series victory. Breaking ball fouled back. A 3-2 is high and a 2-out walk. And now Ramon Santiago will come off the bench. And we'll see if Bochy will stay with Cantos. The answer is no. Trying to get George Cantos going. He comes in, allows a single, a homer, a 2-out walk. Affeldt coming in to try and end Game 1 of this World Series. Scudero was good. Pablo Sandoval, unbelievable.
3 home runs in a World Series game for only the 4th time in history. Remarkable.
He hit a solo shot in the first, a 2-run shot in the 3rd, a solo blast in the 5th, had a single in the 7th for good measure. Scudero, 2 more RBI hits.
3-homer game for Pablo Sandoval.
Grin and bear it. Pablo Sandoval ignites pandemonium by the Bay as the Giants throttle the Tigers in a less than classic start to the 2012 Fall Classic. Well, Game 1 is in the books. Welcome to your World Series postgame coverage. 8-3 the final, and with it comes a 1-0 series lead for the San Francisco Giants. As you can see, Craig Monroe is here. Mario Impemba and Rod Allen are over there manning the hot corner tonight. And Craig, we'll begin with you. The Tigers now in uncharted territory in these playoffs. They have to come back from a series deficit. How does that alter your mindset?
Well, obviously, Mick, we've got to, first of all, you've got to give the Giants some credit here. I mean, for the caliber of baseball that they've been playing. In the LDS, they were down 0-2. They went to Cincinnati, and you see what that happened. They got rid of them. And then all of a sudden, they go win 3 against St. Louis. This team is hot as fire, and it showed today because the momentum stayed on their side. Yeah, they are on a roll now, no doubt about that. Mario Rada, even the Giants, though, said this was a must-win game for the Tigers because they had Verlander on the mound. I mean, it's only one game, but I guess if you're going to have one like this, it's best to get it out of the way early.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Mick. And you don't want to do some extensive looking at some of the stats during this game today. And you know what I found out? The World Series is a best of 7. How about that, Rod? So there is a chance for the Tigers to come back. A lot of experience on this Tigers team. I think they'll be okay tomorrow night. They got to get Fister going, though.
And no doubt about that. And somehow Fister has to go out there and really slow down the first 2 hitters in the batting order for the Giants. That would be Pagan, that would be Scudero, and that would allow him to pitch to Panda, the Kung Fu Panda, a little bit more cautiously.
7-game series, says Mario Impemba. All right, very good. All right, let's get you to tonight's highlights presented by Wallside Windows. agreeably that there weren't a lot of them for the Tigers early on tonight. They look good, though, in the pregame introductions, although plenty of boos cascading down from the San Francisco fans. However, the home fans would explode here after Pablo Sandoval, with 2 outs and 2 strikes, takes Justin Verlander into the seats. 1-0 Giants. To the third, Miguel Cabrera up with Austin Jackson on first. Hits one on a line to left. Watch Gregor Blanco make a fine diving catch. That gets by him. Jackson scores from first. Instead, the Tigers get nothing. In San Francisco's half of the inning, the Giants get a huge break. Angel Pagan with a chopper to third. It bounces off the bag into left field. Pagan ends up on second with a 2-out double. The next batter is the NLCS MVP Marco Scutaro. Takes a 2-strike fastball into center field. Pagan comes in to score. The Giants take a 2-0 lead. It gets worse. Sandoval up again, and he gets Verlander again. This one he takes deep to left. Delmon Young goes back on it, but runs out of room. It's a 2-run home run. It's a 4-0 Giants lead on Justin Verlander. To the fourth we go, again with 2 outs. Barry stinking Zito slaps one to left. Brandon Belt will come around to score from second after Delmon Young's throw rolls into the infield, and it's 5-0 Giants. To the fifth we go. Sandoval again had 12 home runs in the regular season. Hit 3 tonight in his first 3 at-bats. The first player to do that in World Series history. That made it 6-0. Sandoval comes back out for a curtain call. A well-deserved one at that. The Giants tack on 2 more. The Tigers would get 3 before the night was over, but it all adds up to a 5-run loss in Game 1 as we take a look at tonight's Honda game summary. 5 of the Giants' first 6 runs came with 2 outs. Verlander had allowed 1 run or fewer in 6 of his last 7 starts and had won all 7 of those starts. Tonight, he didn't make it to the 5th. Sandoval joins Babe Ruth, Reggie Jackson, and Albert Pujols as the only 4 players to hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. All right, let's get all the guys back in here now for tonight's Motor City Casino breakdown. And Simo, the biggest play of the game may have been made by the third base. I mean, funny what one bounce can mean at this time of year.
Well, that's exactly how things happen, Mick. When guys are playing, when the team is playing as well as the Giants are playing right now, these are the breaks that you're going to get. You're going to get that ball where Miggy's already over there, ready to make this play, and the ball hits the bag. It's the baseball gods looking out for the Giants right now. That ball gets there, and it opened up a can of worms for the Tigers because Marco Scutaro came up next, and he just had a great at-bat. And this was just, I mean, bottom line, not good for the Tigers.
And you wonder how really that would have changed this ballgame because Justin Verlander at that point had retired 6 in a row in the contest. After giving up the home run to Sandoval in the first inning, he was cruising along again. You get that double, and all of a sudden the floodgates open, and it's a much different ballgame.
You know, one of the things that Verlander has done so well during the course of the postseason, he's been able to slow the game down. But for the first time this postseason, the game kind of sped on up on him, and he really couldn't slow it back down. Craig talked about that at bat Scutaro had. It was a tremendous AB, and he did a very nice job getting a base hit to drive in the run there.
Rob, let me ask you, Sandoval with the 3 home runs tonight, does he get the intentional pass the rest of the series?
I don't think so. I don't think you can intentionally pass Sandoval. Look, he's hit 6 home runs in the postseason now. He's been red hot. Every team is going to have one of those going into postseason. Sandoval is their guy right now. You might be a little bit more careful based on what they have behind him, but he really came up big tonight.
We'll give Buster Posey a lot of credit because Buster Posey hits right behind him. And just as we watch Prince Fielder hitting behind Miguel Cabrera all season long, McMiggy won the Triple Crown. Kung Fu Panda came to play today. He's hot. He's a bad ball hitter. He hit everything the Tigers threw, and it really didn't matter where they were pitching him. He went to the top of the zone. He hit balls out that were up and in. That ball was an 0-2 pitch. It's up. Look at him go up and get it, and he hit that one 411 feet. And then he hits another ball the opposite way. This is in the 3rd inning. This is a 2-0 pitch. Now he goes down and away to get this one and hit it the other way for another big fly. And then Albuquerque, he comes into the game, and then he goes down to the bottom of the zone, and then he plays long ball once again. So the Kung Fu Panda, he hit about 1,200 feet of home runs in this ball game today, which is pretty remarkable. What a night he had here tonight.
And guys, before Sandoval hit his 2nd home run, Jeff Jones went out to visit Verlander, and Verlander said, "What are you doing out here?" What do you think was the purpose of that visit at the time?
Well, just to kind of slow down the game a little bit. It doesn't matter if you're Justin Verlander or if you're the 25th guy in the roster. I think that there comes a time in any inning against anybody that if it's starting to roll out of control, I think Jonesy wanted to slow things down a bit.
Oh, there's no question about that. And one of the things that Jeff Jones, he's been around Verlander since Verlander basically came to the movies, and he knows him inside and outside, and he probably could see that Verlander was a little bit too amped up. And Jones has talked about the fact that Verlander will do that from time to time, get a little too charged up in big games, and he appeared to be that today. But you also have to give the Giants a lot of credit. They were outstanding today.
Yeah, that they were, and we're going to have to find a way to cool off this San Francisco offense here looking ahead to Game 2. Thank you, gentlemen. Much more